On this week's episode, we're going to have a family chat with all of the kids and me and Sister Marshall. We also have Rosalie here, so if you hear some screaming, screeching, chairs creaking, her grabbing the camera or the microphone, don't think anything of it. Just go grab yourself a hot cup of coffee, come back, and we'll dive in. All right, welcome back. We're here with the family. I have me, Daniel, Brianna, Rosalie, Adriana, Ezekiel, James, Harley, and Sister Marshall. So if you hear some chairs creaking or some babies screaming, we got creaky chairs and a little one here. So we're going to start with Daniel because he's to my left, and I always pick on that guy that's on my left. Preaching, podcast, whatever. You're the lucky guy. So I'm going to ask you two questions. It's actually one question. That way it's a little more clarified than what I originally had planned. But as far as us being so far away and you being a new parent, how has that affected you? I mean, with us living in Papua New Guinea and you having our first grandchild and us being so far away.
It's ready.
I never stopped recording.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's hard a lot of days. Sometimes most days. So, if I have situations with Rosalie that I don't know how to handle, some questions you would ask your parents. I don't really have, I can ask you, but I can't take you out for breakfast and ask you.
Yeah.
You know? There's days that I would really like to give you a hug. And honestly just see you. Like, I don't get what other people get to do with their parents. I don't get to go over to my parents' house when I need to see them. I can try to FaceTime you if I want.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's hard too, especially with the time difference. So, being a new parent is awesome. You get to experience life in kind of a whole new way. Life has a completely different meaning after you have a kid. It's no longer just, just fly by the seat of your pants. You really gotta buckle down when you're a parent. But I think hearing from you guys is awesome, and I love that you will tell us even when bad stuff's happening, because I would rather know than to not know. I'd rather know, like, if something bad happens, I want you to tell us. I don't want us to hear it from someone else, like...
That's right. Breaking news.
Yeah. So, I guess sometimes I find myself thinking, like, the worst, which is not the way you should be, because you're over there for the right reasons. But I think of, like, what if something bad happened to you guys, and who would tell me? Well, how many weeks would it be before I even knew anything happened? I don't get to celebrate Father's Day with you. I don't get to celebrate Mother's Day with you. I don't get to see you on your birthdays. I don't get to see you on Christmas. Rosalie doesn't get to see you on her birthday. We have to be like, here's the camera. This is Mama and Papa. But I know also that you're over there for the right reasons. So when I do find myself thinking the bad things, I have to tell myself that God's not going to let that happen to you. And that's how I kind of get through it.
Yeah.
And it's been really hard not being able to see my siblings you know, I didn't get to see him grow those puberty stages, really, you know. The funny ones I got made fun of for, I don't get to make fun of them for.
We just came back and Ezekiel's a grown man.
Yeah.
Don't get to make fun of Ezekiel with the voice cracks.
Ezekiel left and he was like this tall and chubby. He came back like 2 foot taller than me and real skinny. But and I also feel like I can't really connect with him very well. Because I mean, I'm bad anyways at talking to people on the phone.
You and me both.
But like with them, like I wanted to be a part of their life, and I've had moments where they've called me and been like, I really wish I had a big brother. You know how hard that is. That's pretty hard. But I think one day I have to go out there because I have to see the change you guys are making. Because right here, we don't see what you see. We don't get to see that kid light up when you give him 2 Kina. You know?
Awesome.
We just know that I don't have my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Or my siblings.
And everyone's running down the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really difficult at times, and you have to keep reminding yourself over and over that the bigger picture is for the kingdom. And I know that's hard when you're back here and you're not there, like you said. Not seeing what's going on. And I know that I call you guys sometimes like, I just want to come home. But then you sit down and you think about it and you start trying to find those changes, you know, like what impact have we really made? Is there any difference here that wasn't here before? And you start seeing those little small things. And you know that it's worth it because you're wanting people to make it to heaven. And just because, I mean, I know that if we weren't there, someone else would be there because God's going to take care of his people. But because we were faithful and answered the call, we get to see Amy get baptized. When before they weren't really keen on baptizing children, but now they know that God can use children too. Or she comes running up and she says, we got the Holy Ghost at church, you know. Or you look on Facebook and he's started making progress with Brother Sio and Satoki, and they are baptizing people, you know, whole churches. And it's through prayers, and not just us, but people here. But what makes it so hard is knowing that you guys are back here, and like when we left, I mean, Harley just got married. They were just fixing up their house, and you know, Mother wants to be a part of that, and I feel like I'm not, I mean, not that I'm not part of your life, but I'm not here, so I can't be with her and say, come on, let's pray, Rosalie. Mama wants to show you how to pray, you know? I'm not saying you guys aren't doing that. I mean, something I wanted to do with her, you know, or read her a book, or have her sit in my lap while I read her a book, you know? I can read her a book on Facebook or FaceTime or whatever, but it's not the same. And to know that I can't just grab you and give you a hug or get a Daniel hug, or me and Harley spend time together like we used to. I mean, it's difficult. But, like you said, we just have to keep it in our mind that it's for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And that in the end, I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't think that people realize like what missionary kids that aren't in the field go through. You know,
I agree.
I think people, because I mean it's a spiritual battle. I mean, I've had those conversations with God, like, God, if you let anything happen to my mom and dad or my family, like, and it's hard sometimes, but I think that's why a lot of, like, missionary kids, like younger ones, they like act out. It's because they have to go through so much, you know, and it is God setting them up for something greater.
Yeah.
So I think that we have to kind of understand that what you're doing is the right thing, even when we have bad days, and we have to use that to grow instead of keeping it inside and let us grow bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big statement right there. I mean, a lot of people, they'll get bitter, feeling like God is taking somebody out of your life, you know, and that's a huge statement right there.
And that's something we, as parents in the field, we think about our older children that aren't in the field with us, like, you know, worrying about, well, are they at church? Are they still involved? Are they praying? Or do they need me to pray for them? What can I pray for? You know,
crazy stuff like, do they have food? I mean, it's just crazy parent stuff. You know, it's crazy. I mean, I know you guys are doing okay most times, you know, but everybody has those moments. And as a parent, I mean, even though you guys are, I mean, Daniel, he's like 42 years old.
I feel it.
But no, they're both in their 20s, but you still have those thoughts like, man, I wonder if they have enough gas to get to work today, or I wonder if there's anything I could do to make their life just a little bit easier.
or if they have a flat tire on the way to work, who are they gonna call?
Who are they gonna call? Because I mean, Daniel's usually, I mean, he's called me in the past, and been like, hey, Dad, well.
I've had flat tires with you guys, Don. I just call the tow truck now.
Flat tires, or Brianna, not she. I think her gas gauge was like in maybe Chinese or something, and she couldn't read it. So it ran out.
Yeah.
And, you know, those calls that we get. She was making sure she filled herself up, just not her car, right? She had to get that Mountain Dew. But
She still puts the minimum amount of gas she needs in the car.
Same.
well, I mean, gas is like, what, $5 a gallon? She's putting 3 in just to get to the next stop. So, but a lot of people think that technology makes things so much easier, right? And they're like, oh, well, you guys got FaceTime now. You guys got Skype now. And honestly, I mean, that's the hardest thing on me is that kind of stuff where you're like FaceTiming somebody and then you get off the phone and it just messes you all up. I mean, it's just like, you just cry because you can't give them that hug, can't do those things, can't be there to run and get gas whenever somebody forgets to put it in there, or, you know, whatever it may be. But we won't pick on Bree anymore. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Just give us some time and give us some ammunition, and we'll get her again. But other than that, Daniel, is there any other things that you have for that particular thing? I'm gonna let your mom come through and ask some questions too.
Yeah.
She'll be asking the tricky stuff.
I think that answers that. I think a lot more than that.
Yeah, but I mean, you hit every area though. I mean, there's just so many things. And the reason I wanted to do this podcast as a family is a lot of people, they neglect to think about the Daniel and the Brees and the Harleys and the Jameses where your parents are, and the Rosleys. Yeah, I mean, they think, well, you know, Ezekiel and Adriana, they're in the field with them, so that we're going to think about them, but they don't realize the emotional and the spiritual impact that it has on you guys as well. And people's like, well, you know, I'm sure Daniel and Harley's taking it pretty good. They know you're doing God's work, yeah, but we're still their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's still a natural side of that. Everybody, I mean, even missionaries, believe it or not, we don't like float into places. You know, we walk in like everybody else. You know, we have battles just like everybody else does. and a lot of them is, well, number one, everybody, I want you to know, is immigrations, because immigrations is just the devil. But the rest of it is, you know, the family side of things, because it pulls on you from all directions. From all directions. So, Bree, we're to you now. Brianna just was sitting here, and Rosalie decided to dump a full cup of coffee in her lap, and it was hilarious. But like I said, I'm not going to pick on Bree. So for you, how has it been knowing that Daniel is here and we're over there, and you've had to fill a pretty big void, you know, with us being gone? How's that been for you, and what are some of the things that you've had to deal with there?
I think I'm more nervous this time. I think the hardest, don't touch. I think the hardest part is how much Daniel has to put on his shoulders while you guys are gone. He has to take the role of being the head of the house, like for his siblings, for all the funerals and all that. Everyone has had to come to him rather than you, Ryan. If something goes wrong with Harley, we've stepped up as not parents, but as role models for her to look up to and talk to if she needs something. With having a daughter and your all's first granddaughter, it's...
Yep, there she is.
There she is. That was Rosie.
That was not Brianna, I promise.
That video.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, it's different because... Are you good now? She...
Rosie, be nice to Mommy.
Hey, gentle for just a couple more minutes. She has my parents that she gets, but I have to remember to take all the pictures, all the videos for you guys.
Yeah.
For anything new she learns, anything new she does, says, birthdays, Christmas, like, it's different. People don't understand all the stuff you guys miss while being over there as well. Like, yes, you're doing God's work, but at the same time, you guys are missing a lot. Like, you missed her first birthday, missed her learning to walk, run, jump. Like, yeah, to some people that might seem like little things, but you left when she was 5 months old and came back when she was 23 months old. So it's a situation to where I have to make sure her grandparents are learning about her, and I'm doing everything I can to be there for my husband, my kid, my sister-in-law, when you all can't be there for them.
Yeah.
You good?
And there's been a lot of those situations, you know, since we've been away. You know, my grandpa died, my aunt died. You know, the first time we was in PNG, my grandma died. So, you know, Daniel's had to fill that role quite a bit. And Rosalie, if any of our listeners would like to buy Rosie a Canon camera, she is fascinated with this one. And you're probably going to hear a lot of shaking and a whole lot of craziness going on. She has found herself on the viewfinder. So like Bree said, you know, it's pretty hard for her to fill that role too, because there's so much going on in their lives, and they also have to step in, you know, and when things are happening with Daniel, she's got to step in and make sure that everything at home's going well and all of that. So we're thankful that both of our adult children, well, Ezekiel's an adult now, but both Daniel and Harley, they both have found someone that has really been a great help to them, and the perfect person to help them through all of the trials and tribulations of being an MK. So we're going to let one of the siblings ask Adriana her question.
Which sibling?
Who's it going to be? Everybody's pointing at Daniel. When I say everybody, Brianna is the only one that pointed.
There
I'm
we
the only
go.
one that matters.
Oh.
I'm everybody.
Okay. I think if I could ask you a question, it would be, when was a moment that you really, really needed one of us, but we couldn't be there for you?
Oof. Like a lot. Like I'll be like, oh, I want to call Harley or I want to call Daniel about this, but then I'll look at the time and I'll be like, oh, it's like 4 a.m. But I can call Daniel because work. But a lot of the time, yeah, I'll be like, oh, this would be something I would want to talk to them about or something I would want to show them. So I'll just take a picture. And I'll end up forgetting about it and never sending it to them. But I do it all the time. I'd say I call them every once in a while, and then I'll walk in and Mom and Dad will be on the phone with them and I'll talk to them for a while. But it's not the same on FaceTime than it is in real life. Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to them about, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to them about, and like, I'll think about talking to them about, but then I'll be like, oh, I don't want to bother them because of like the time differences and stuff. But I feel like I can call them whenever I want, but that doesn't mean they're gonna answer. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I could talk to them about, and like I should, and I want to talk to them about, but then like I think about it and the time, you're not even recording me. The time zones are just like really off. I know, but I don't want my microphone. But the time zones are really off, and that's like the biggest thing is the time zones. But yeah, that's it.
It's only 15 hours, not a big deal.
Yeah, not that big a deal. When it's daytime here, it's night there. It doesn't really matter.
When it's daytime there, it's night there. Not that big of a time difference.
I'll record you.
So we're also going to have someone ask Ezekiel a question, and we're going to let anyone that would like to ask him a question. One question. Let's not get crazy. So anybody that wants to ask him a question, and no holds barred, guys. The good, the bad, the ugly.
I hate for someone asking 2 questions in one.
I know.
Yeah,
Two completely different questions have nothing to do with each other
That
in
would
one.
just be rude. Who would do something like that?
I can ask a question if nobody else wants to.
Do it.
Try a different one than last time.
Okay, I got something else I want to say. Oh, she's holding the camera. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to say, before you left, now you're gonna have to forgive me because I've had a rough couple of days. But before you left, it felt like we were really close, you know. So I've been missing you a lot. I missed when you were staying the night with us, and we would stay up late and you'd play Red Dead Redemption for hours. I know you got in trouble for it, but
Yeah.
it was really nice.
Some things never change.
Yeah, I miss it a lot. So my question I asked before was, how did you so easily, you know, gel and make friends with the people there in Papua New Guinea, with being from a different country? But I just wanted to make sure that before I ask you that question, that I let you know that I missed you a lot, and I'm gonna miss you when you go back again. So.
Yeah. I missed you too. I thought about it a lot. Like a lot. Like those were like, it sounds weird, but those like nights staying up and just talking sometimes, like sometimes we would just pause Red Dead Redemption and talk, you know?
Yeah.
And those are like some formative moments of my life. Like I remember that for sure. What in the world? But those were like big moments in my life. It was almost like whenever you and Harley got married, it's like I got a second brother. It was pretty much, it's like what it felt like, especially whenever we were staying with you back in 2020 and beginning of 2021. It was really like we got like a really close bond. I felt like then whenever we left, it was like we just kind of stopped talking completely, you know.
I probably played Red Dead Redemption one more time since you've been gone in 2 years. It wasn't the same. So I've never played it since.
Yeah, it's not the same playing it by yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then what was the question part?
Well, how did you so easily make friends there? You mentioned that they were really friendly and easy, but I just wanted to talk about that.
But anyway, the way that I made friends in Mom, it's okay. Go. But the way that I made friends in Papua New Guinea so easily, and like you said before, like, how do you have so many friends in Papua New Guinea? It's almost like I was so accepted, like, by one person pretty much. That one person got me into their friend group, and then the friends in that friend group got me into another friend group, and then the people in that friend group got me into an entire tribe of people, you know, and then it's like the whole city, and then it's like half of Jawaka province. It's like it just grows and grows and grows. But yeah, the way that I made friends was just keeping an open mind. Like I said before, it's just like whenever you start thinking, I'm from America, you're from Papua New Guinea, I'm from this place, you're from that place, we can't be friends, we're too different, we have different skin colors, we were raised differently, we have, like you said, different financial statuses, you know, like at the beginning, I thought that way for maybe the first 6-7 months back in 2019. I thought that way. I didn't want to be there, you know. But then, like, you start to get an open mind about things, and you start to accept some of the things, you know. You start to, like I said before, it's the white man think is what I call it, just like the foreign thinking, the foreign thinking that you kind of have to get rid of and start trying to think like. I don't want to say think like them, but start trying to just accept a little bit more things. Not everything. Some of the things are crazy. I'm not saying that, but just, but just to kind of go with the flow of life, you know, is pretty much, that's it. That's the answer to the question. But yeah, now it's Harley's turn.
All right. So now we're going to move on to James. James is actually one of the first subs for Coffee with the Missionary. So, me like talk, thank you, brother. So he I know he listens to every episode, and I intend in the near future I'm going to be doing an episode just with James, because I know he's been a listener, and I know that he's a big supporter of Coffee with the Missionary, and I just want to say thank you. Question I have for you is, with you being such an avid listener of Coffee with a Missionary, do I do a fair job, and this is a no holds barred question, answer it honestly, do I do a fair job of letting people know of what's going on in PNG? I know you get some of the breaking news, and people here don't even know what's going on, but you listen enough to where you get quite a bit. Is there anything that I could do differently to keep our listeners more engaged and knowing what all is going on over there in a better way?
Yeah, and being totally candid, I already answered this question, so I'm trying to remember all the things I brought up. But yeah, one of the things that I had said was whenever I listen to Coffee with a Missionary, I work at a school. I usually try to get there before anybody else is there, and I will get there and, well, not during the summer, but I try to get there before anybody else is there, and I'll listen to it and drink my cup of coffee, and usually he finishes his cup of coffee before I do. But I think that one of my favorite episodes was the one when him and Ezekiel attempted to climb the mountain. Ezekiel made it, but Ryan did not. But they attempted to climb the mountain, and it was what I enjoyed about it was the fact that he specifically talked about Betty, the woman that and her husband that owned the property and was renting out the cabins and helping people to climb up the mountain. And I enjoy I listened to the one also where you had I think you had Joseph and a couple other guys on there and just talked about stuff. And I thought that was very not that I don't enjoy hearing you talk too, but it's nice to see it from the side of the local people that live there and how they view everything. So that's what I'd recommend to do some more. Okay. But other than that, yes, it feels like you're just sitting on a porch drinking a cup of coffee with the missionary. Good. So it serves its purpose.
Awesome, thank you. Well, with that being said, he still has almost a full cup of coffee in his hand.
This is my second cup.
Oh, his second cup, and I've had 4 since we started recording. This is our second go-around. We had some technical issues the first time around.
This is more like a Short film.
Yeah, this is a documentary. So,
Can't see you.
Harley, Adriana can't. She's got a camera over there.
At the microphone.
Yeah, I pointed at the microphone.
Did it for us.
Anyway, I done it for my people here.
You
But,
think that camera's recording you?
It is.
No.
It's recording your chest.
Got your chest.
I don't care. Anyway, we're at Harley now, and Harley is our oldest daughter, and she's had a lot going on over the past the entire time we've been gone. Without going into great detail, you know, we're not here to try to out anything or anybody. We're just here to talk openly. With everything that you've gone through over the past little while, what was it like having your parents so far away and you having to go through all the transitions that you have over the past year and a half?
So, it's hard to be alone, is what I'm basically trying to say. Is that I very easily feel lonely. It's something that I've dealt with a lot. Even when I have people, I feel lonely. So having like the main core people in my life leave and go very far away is hard, because I easily feel alone, and I deal with anxiety and I deal with depression. But I have my older brother Daniel and my sister-in-law and my husband and they're all very good at being there for me when I am freaking out a little bit and Rosie. So it's difficult, but I've kind of made they're still my family, but I've kind of made like a core group here too. That way I'm not like putting a bunch of stuff on top of what they're dealing with. But FaceTime does help. But there has been a lot of stuff I have went through just recently, like transitioning into different paths and stuff in life, and then when we decided to make a transition, our car decided to break down, and then our water went out, and then I had a bunch of doctor stuff I had to get done, and I had a bunch of bills, and it was stressful, and they were gone, and it's not something you want to call and be like, hey, my life's falling apart, even though you're really far away. So
and see, that's really hard,
mm-hmm.
being your mom,
Mm-hmm.
because we were so close, and being able to be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you can call me, it's still not, I can't, okay sis, I'll be right over, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then knowing that you're going through all that, I mean, I can pray.
Yeah.
And I know prayers, it works and everything. And when I do pray, I always say, God, go where I can't be, because I can't be there, but you can.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, before I left, you'd call me about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes that so hard to hear is, like, when we come back, we're trying to step back into our role again of mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
But like you just said, you've made it a community here. Like Daniel and Bree's become that. And then you've kind of become, you and James, her other set of grandparents. So when we come back, it's hard to step back into that role.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that it's hard for you guys to see us back in that role again, because you've made that already. And I know that's probably difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I hate that you're going through that.
Yeah. It's okay.
No, it's not.
I'm working through it the way I'm supposed to. Well, I think I'm supposed to. You know, you never know what you're supposed to do. So, do you want us to stop? I can
No,
stop
go
talking.
for it. That's what this podcast is.
Oh,
This is the real deal.
You say you don't want to be in it.
Whether it's a podcast or a therapy session, I mean, that's what we're here for. This is the people need to hear stuff like this because they only see, oh wow, they're baptizing all these people, or oh wow, they're building a Bible college, or oh wow, this, but they need to see that
Yeah, they don't
this
see,
kind of stuff happens.
they don't see you guys cry every time we FaceTime you when you see your
Yeah.
granddaughter.
Yeah, they don't experience all of this. So that's why I wanted to do this because there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize happens when you're involved in mission work. And whether people realize it, whether you realize it, you're involved in mission work. I mean, you let your parents and your siblings go
yeah.
without a fight. I mean, neither one of you's like, no, you don't need to go. I mean, you're both. So.
Yeah. And you kind of feel like you're like on an island, like by yourself. Because there's not, no, I mean like for us,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't go through this. Like their parents are
No idea.
like there are hardships with parents being pastors and with parents being evangelists, but like you just, no one really understands. And with James and I, James, he doesn't have any family, and you guys kind of took him in. And then when you guys are gone, we're really alone, you know? So.
Yeah, for us, I don't have parents to go to and ask what should I do for this situation.
Yeah. So we're really, and we try not to put it all on them either because, you know, they're going through a lot. So, but a lot of times we do feel very lonely. Because we don't really have anybody. And some of the stuff that we're dealing with, you know. And we're going to talk to our pastor now, and we're going to do counseling, but when you're in the thick of it, it's really hard not to just give up sometimes.
Yeah.
We went through a lot of stuff this year, and there was points where I wanted to just give up completely. So, it's been rough, but, and then we get you back for 6 months and we get used to it, and then we have to give you up again, so.
I mean, we can add a couple rooms onto the house.
So, there's that.
And then we have people come up to us all the time and they're like,
It's not that hard, you get a FaceTime.
have you talked to your parents lately?
No, I haven't talked to him in 2 years.
What happens to us is,
And then,
and what kind of hurts my feelings a little bit is we'll go places and they don't know who we are until we say, yeah, well, Ryan and Kim Marshall are Harley's parents, and then, oh, we love you guys.
And then automatically, yeah.
they treat us.
It was different before. We were just anybody, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, you guys are like celebrities. But
And the reality of it is that bothers me, things like that. I mean, nobody needs to live in anyone's shadow for starters. You know, you all of you have your own ministry, right? So, you know, God's going to use you in other ways, and they don't need to be like, well, you know, like automatically starting to put labels on you guys, like, oh wow, they're missionary kids, let's send them somewhere. So, well, that may not be in the, you know, it may not be in the future, but you know, there's just so much there. I mean, that's a lot to take in whenever people start doing that kind of stuff. But you know, I really feel that, you know, one thing that I really feel right now is to let you guys know, and you know, in front of all of our listeners and in front of everybody here. I mean, you guys think that we've got all of these problems and all of this stuff going on in the South Pacific, you know, all of these churches we're over and all of that, but the reality of it is our number one ministry is our family, right? So if you guys have issues, call us, man. You know, it's because just like Daniel said, I mean, it's a two-sided coin there. He's like, well, you know, I want to hear when bad things are going on. But then he's like, well, but I'm not going to tell you when bad things are going on with me, right? I'll just keep it all to myself. But when you guys have bad stuff going on, you better tell me about it. But I'm not going to tell you anything.
See, well, our bad stuff is, hey, I missed a rent payment. Your bad stuff is like, there's a dude trying to kill me with a bush knife.
It's a little bit different. Literally every day.
The reality of it is, if one of my kids missed a rent payment, I don't know about it, I'm going to be pretty upset. Well, a house payment. You got me thinking rent now, but you know, I mean, that's a big deal. If my kids are going without water or without electricity, I'm going to be pretty upset. Sister Marshall's only had 2 breakdowns. I'm pretty proud of, well, 2 breakdowns on this recording. Two or 3 on the last. Yeah, last time I think she sobbed the whole time, but this time she's doing better. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
But I am going to let our firstborn ask you a question. And it's up to him what he asks.
Question.
Okay, Harley. I can't. Well, I have one for you then.
Oh.
You can't ask a question when somebody's asking you a question.
So, when you found out that your parents were called into the field, what did you think it was going to be like? Like, did you have a thought of
Expectation versus reality.
Yeah.
Let me say this first and then I'll answer your question. My entire life, I have watched my parents go from a church they shouldn't have been in to not being in at all to jumping from house to house, from struggling, from paying into the wrong thing, not the kingdom, to, I mean, just trial and struggle after struggle. And I think that everything that we went through as a family led you to exactly what you're doing. It took everything. I mean, if you think about it, you think about the having to not have water one week to not having electricity the next week. Sounds familiar now, doesn't it?
from camping for 3 months?
You always made it fun though. Going to the hotel.
But it all led you to being missionaries. It prepared you. You saw what you shouldn't do, and you've grown from it. And to answer your question, what did I expect? I expected it to be the way it is.
You expected us to be this far away?
Yep.
Not just in distance, but in
Not necessarily. I knew exactly where you were going. Well, we did when you were talking the question you asked. Based on the question, you said when we first found out you were going. I mean, I expected not to be able to talk to you all the time and not to be able to see you all the time. I actually even expected not to be able to FaceTime or anything.
So did I.
Because of the internet. So being able to even do that is, we say it's hard, but it's such a blessing.
It's a huge blessing. I need to quit complaining about it.
Oh, it is hard.
It's hard, but what if we didn't have it?
Nothing. Yeah, better than like letters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They would never get.
So I mean, I honestly, I expected it to be like this. Now do I get to ask a
You get
question?
that? Yeah, she dodged the bullet, she thought.
Okay. So what? What was it like, honestly, knowing that you've, like, getting to hold her and getting to have your granddaughter for, like, what was it, how many months? 5.5 months, to not seeing her grow up? What was that like?
Here it goes. Hopefully everybody can understand her.
Well, when we first found out that you guys were having a baby, we were already there. And the first things that went through my mind is, I'm not going to be part of her life. Is she going to know who I am? Because I always felt like we were a close family. Like, we always, everywhere we went, we always went together. And then even after you guys got married, we had dinner nights and, you know, game nights, movie nights, stuff like that. And then to not be here at all and not be able to see her grow and be able to hold her and sing to her, and it was hard not thinking, not, like I said, knowing if she was gonna know me, and to see you be a dad for the first time and not be part of that, and to see different things, like the different stages each child goes through, and to see you go through those stages with her. But I'm thankful that we were able to come back and she did recognize who we were, and that some of the looks that she gives me looks just like you when you were little. But
Except for the eye rolls, those come straight from Bree.
But when you're going into the field, you don't think about stuff that you're gonna miss out here. You just think about what God wants you to do and what you're trying to do for the kingdom. But it doesn't make it any easier. So, I think I answered it. I don't know.
I have a question too. How does it feel when we do send you pictures and videos?
I love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Okay.
Like, that keeps me going.
Bree and I are always really worried that it might make
I
it
am
worse.
so
Chat
thankful.
sometimes gets us out of the bed.
Yeah. I have said many times to his mom and my mom, I'm so thankful that Bree sends me stuff. I said, because if not, I wouldn't know at all what is going on in the pictures that you send. And
Yeah, I love it.
yeah.
She's a little, like I said, Rosie's our little
And
ray of
even the
sunshine.
food pictures that you guys send.
Yeah, trying to be funny, sending taco. Now that we've had Taco Bell again, those pictures don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Back whenever we first got there, and you guys would send pictures of McDonald's and
Kids
stuff.
get so mad.
I was sitting there eating a boiled potato. And you guys send me pictures of this. I'm literally not eating because if I eat, I get food poisoning. So I'm just not eating, starving, and you guys are sending me pictures of this stuff, and I blocked the family chat for like 3 months. I'm dead serious.
too.
So meaning always send food photos. That is what I deserve
It
about that.
doesn't matter much anymore.
Or the
Now-
garage.
No,
After we've been over there as long as we have, food here just doesn't taste good.
Changed.
Bacon will never not taste good.
So bacon.
Something your granddaughter loves.
I don't like how there's not fresh food.
A Lunchable.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I have a question for Bree.
All right.
So,
24? 25? Is it 25? 25.
is it hard for you sending us the pictures and stuff and knowing that we're not there to be in her life?
I wouldn't say it's hard. I say I forget. Like, stuff will happen and like we'll even say it's like, we should have caught that on camera for your parents, or I should have taken that picture of her wearing that outfit today for your parents, or her doing something. It's like we forget because we're in the moment and not knowing, oh, they would have loved to have seen that, or oh, they would have loved to know she'd learned that. Like, we'll tell you all, and it's like, we'll try and catch it on camera for you, but no, she don't. So it's one of those, you gotta catch her doing it.
Not surprised.
She don't like to sit still very long enough for a picture or a video.
Well, we're thankful for all of the pictures and videos and everything that you guys do send. All right, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
I do.
What? Bree's done, but she has something else to say. She acts like she don't like to talk, but
I like to talk. Everyone's got asked a question but you, Ryan.
Yeah, wait a second.
Ryan's not been asked the question.
this is my podcast.
Well, now it's not.
This is Joe Rogan. We can do what we want, man.
We're not doing anything that the Joe Rogan podcast does on this show. I can guarantee
So
that.
it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is, I know being away from family is, but besides family, what is the hardest part about being over there?
bacon food. I honestly, family is it. You know, that's the hardest thing for me, because we are, and we always have been. I mean, we've been doing family movie night since Daniel was like 3 years old. 4. However old he was. It's been so many years, and I'm so old, they all run together anymore. But we've been doing family movie night. That means we've been doing it for like, what, 22 years?
He's 26.
27.
So 26. So we've been doing this for a lot of years.
Almost 30 whenever we come back.
And, you know, we still do it in Papua New Guinea. We all do it together. You know, we'll me and the kids and Sister Marshall will watch movies. And, you know, it's still awesome that, you know, you guys still do it too, you know, as a family. But I think, you know, I'll see stuff going on back here in America, and a lot of it really doesn't have that much of an effect unless it's like us, right? You know, some of the stuff that we see from other people, like from people we go to church with, or even my parents and stuff, some of it's a little tough, but the things that have hit me the hardest is, I tell you what, I probably cried from Indianapolis to almost Brisbane when we left Rosalie the first time. I was a wreck. And, you know, when we lose loved ones when we're over there, it's hard. You know, I always thought that I would come back this time and go fishing with my grandpa. But I can't. You know, it's all family stuff that gets to me the most. It's the, you know, like tomorrow morning, you know, even though it's 2 or 3 hours, we're going to go play 18 holes of golf, but it's going to be awesome. I'll probably lose, you know, 36 balls while we're out there, but it's going to be awesome. You know, the biggest thing that I hang my hat on is, yeah, we're gone 18 months at a time. We are. But what we do with the time that we're here is what makes it. Just like this time on deputation, I am dead set that your mom's going to stay here with Rosalie and you guys. Rosalie's first, and then you guys are second. But I'm going to make
in my life now.
I'm going to make sure that whatever I have to do to make that happen, I think it's vital, because we miss so much. And with her being able to be here, she'll get to bond in a way that she wouldn't be able to any other way. And if that means that I lose a little more sleep, and I got to use a sound machine to cover up the snoring sound I usually hear, then I'll do it. Because, you know, it's important that we're all, that we stay as close as we were. You know, when we first got back, it was a little awkward, kind of like there's a little bit of a drift that had happened. But that's natural. We've been gone for almost 2 years. But now that, you know, we're actually starting to get back into a routine of things, everything's starting to come back together. And that's the natural order of things. And the more that she can be here, it's going to make it hard to leave. It's never going to be easy to have your loved ones at the airport where you're walking away. But it's easier if we don't have any regret while we're here. When it really gets hard is when we start regretting, well, I wish I'd have spent more time with them. Or we could have done this. Or just like the other day, we got to take Rosie to the zoo, or not the zoo. Even when we walked into the museum, I was like, I wonder if they're having a dolphin show today. But we got to take her to the museum for the first time she's ever been. That's a huge memory. And I almost messed it up because I was like, well, we don't have time. You know, it's too late in the day or this or that or whatever. But if we wouldn't have done that, then there would be regret. So I don't care if I got to sleep in the car and let Rosalie drive me to wherever we're going.
Not a good idea.
Then, you know. Oh, I thought she was trying to get me to shut up.
That too.
But, you know, regardless of what that is, we're going to do it. I don't care how tired I get. I don't care what we have to do to make it happen. So, thanks for making me cry. That's why she's my favorite daughter-in-law.
I have a question. What do you think? Because, like, you guys were gone and didn't get to partake in me opening a business. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about me having a business now?
It's pretty awesome. It's awesome.
I think it's great.
So, all of you that are listening that like retro games, we'll go ahead and throw video games. I don't know okay, retro video games. The name of the store is Retro Jake's. It's in Connorsville, Indiana. And they also have, you guys have a website, huh?
Yeah, and an app for Android.
So let's hear it. Let them know.
Retro Jake's on the App Store.
What's the website and all that? Just retrojakes.com.
Hey, we made it
Hey,
easy.
a lot of people have some crazy stuff. So retrojakes.com or the app in the Android store. They're not cool enough for Apple.
Apple
Hasn't accepted us yet. Taking forever.
If you bash Apple on this podcast, you never come back. So make sure you check that out. And I think it's great. They're doing great. It's been really good for Ezekiel and Adriana because they both have gaming systems now. So Ezekiel he's been playing, Adriana's been playing. So I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome, and I see great things happening.
Is anybody else?
You got a question for Dad?
No.
You have plenty to edit though.
I have a question for Mom and Dad. Did you miss me, Daniel, Rosie, or Roxy more?
Thanks for tuning in with Coffee with the Missionary. We appreciate you guys listening this week. I know this one's a little bit longer than most, but we love you and appreciate you. Thank you for your continued prayers and support. God bless.